Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show, the James Rural Crypto Show on YouTube. This is a premiere. This is pre-recorded. I just want to let you guys and gals know that this is pre-recorded, but we have a live chat if you want to ask any questions. I'm real excited to interview organizations that are trying to put a dent in the crypto universe, trying to educate our politicians, trying to get that extra vibe out there so our politicians and government will kind of get a better understanding of what DeFi is, what blockchain is, and all the above. And I'm honored today to have Miller and Amanda with the DeFi Education Fund. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have y'all here.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
an
you for
absolute,
having us.
yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. Can one of you kind of give us a breakdown of what the DeFi Education Fund is and what your mission is?
Absolutely. So the DeFi Education Fund is a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C., and our mission is to advocate for users of DeFi, developers of DeFi protocols, and crypto users more broadly in policy-making circles. So we lobby Congress, to your point, explaining what is a blockchain, what is Bitcoin, what is a cryptocurrency, everything from the super basic 101 to how this SEC rule is going to potentially affect, an AMM or something more complicated like that. We submit comment letters. So regulators have policy proposals they put out for comment. And I'm sure some of your listeners have participated in comment letter writing campaigns, which we very much appreciate. So it's an opportunity for the public to have their voice heard. And we advocate for policies that are favorable to crypto and DeFi through that avenue as well. And then the final path, which is the focus of this conversation, that we try and advocate for DeFi and crypto from a policy perspective, is via the courts. So impact litigation is an important tool in the tool chest. And that, of course, is the topic of conversation today. So we really do the whole host of advocacy activities primarily focused on the US on behalf of crypto users, DeFi users, and developers.
Oh, that's wonderful. So kind of give me both your backgrounds and how you got involved with this project. Just a quick synopsis. Give me a quick background, both of y'all.
Sure. So I actually joined DEF more recently than Miller, but I joined a year ago as the chief legal officer. I left private practice where I was representing clients in this space. So I was doing white collar criminal defense and securities litigation, but for clients that were either using digital assets or wanted to use digital assets in their business in some capacity. And that's how I fell in love with the space. I think that it is an area where a young lawyer in particular can really dig their teeth in and get creative with laws that have been on the books for a while. So that's what really drew me into the space. And I also have, I passionately believe that it's a better version of a financial system that we are all trying to build. So when I got the opportunity to join, I jumped at it.
That's awesome. Now, Miller, you're the CEO. How did you conjure up this idea?
I first got into crypto in 2013, 2014. I was living in
You beat me.
Beijing
I
at the
thought I
time.
was the OG. You actually beat me to the
No,
punch.
no, well, you were working in it before I was. So I first found out about Bitcoin 2013, 2014. I was living in China at the time, and the expat community there was into this, crazy new concept called Bitcoin, and fell in love with it after college. Started doing crypto advocacy, was at a big trade association before joining the DeFi Education Fund in 2021. So I've been working on crypto policy since 2018 now full time, and it's been quite a journey, as you know.
Wow, it has. It's been a roller coaster ride just here the past 3 or 4 years with the SEC and politicians and all the above. So I've been reading up on it, and you've been getting it out there on social media. There's a lawsuit. Y'all have sued the SEC. Tell me what's going on and what it's all about. We all want to know because we all want to kick the SEC in the butt. So let's hear it.
Happy to talk about it. We are very proud about it. So we are working with a co-plaintiff, Beba, and Beba is an apparel company based in Texas. They, make backpacks and duffel bags and other cool accessories. They did a free airdrop of their new BEBA token. They are doing this as part of a marketing campaign to reach more customers, to get their name out there, and they drop their tokens for free. So BEBA, in the first claim in our complaint, is seeking a court order that airdrop is not a securities transaction and that their tokens that they created are not investment contracts. Now, that makes sense, right? Because they were free. There's no investment of money under the Howey test that this community is also familiar with, I'm sure. So because users don't pay anything for a BEBA token, there has been no investment of money. BEBA has not realized any compensation for these tokens. So that's the basis of claim one. And then the claim that we bring together is a claim under the Administrative Procedures Act. The APA says that a regulatory body that finalizes a rule or a new policy, they have to do notice and comment. That means they have to tell the public what the rule is in no uncertain terms and explain a variety of reasons like the cost benefit analysis, why they're doing the rule, who it's supposed to capture. There are certain requirements that they must meet under the APA. We're saying in our claim that it is very clear to us that the SEC has an unwritten final rule about digital assets. They basically say in all these enforcement actions and these settlement orders and whatever else they put out there, they basically say, if there's a digital asset involved, then it's a security, right? Then it's a securities transaction. And just because they didn't write that rule down in a way that we could read and comment on and challenge in a court doesn't mean that they haven't violated the APA. So that's the basis of our claim. We are hoping that the court recognizes that final rule and tells the SEC that they violated the APA by finalizing this rule without notice and comment.
What would a total win look like if y'all win this suit? I mean, is it going to change the way the SEC has to look at future tokens? I mean, what are we looking at?
So a win in this case would be BEBA getting a court order that says a free airdrop is not a securities transaction and BEBA tokens are not investment contracts, which I think is important for the digital asset industry, but also retail consumer product industry, right? There's all these companies now using digital assets and NFTs to promote their brands. So I think it matters even outside of crypto. And then a win under the APA claim that I was just talking about would mean that the SEC has to respond to the court deciding that they violated the APA. And that could mean they have to do rulemaking, which is similar to what Coinbase is asking for in the Third Circuit, right? Their petition for rulemaking, similar to that. Or it could mean that they just have to stop enforcing this policy by bringing multiple enforcement actions every month against the industry. So a total win would be all of the above, and would mean that the industry gets some breathing room to actually focus on the technology, which is what we all want to do.
Yeah, James, I think one way to understand the implications here is to like kind of think about this case in the story of the SEC's approach to crypto over the last several years. You know, they have done all they can to throw as much ambiguity and uncertainty as to what is not a security as possible. You know, they will never say, other than Bitcoin, that anything is not a security in the digital asset space. Here, BEBA is proactively seeking a court order saying that who cares what the SEC thinks? Under the law, what they are doing in their token BEBA is not a security. And that would be, I think, a unique outcome and a new guidance in what is essentially a vacuum created intentionally by the SEC. And then the second claim, you know all too well that the SEC, has an informal policy. They are enforcing it like crazy, this embodiment theory. And to Amanda's point, if there's a digital asset even whispered, then it's a security in the SEC's mind. It should not be legal for the SEC to secretly adopt that policy and start enforcing it. And luckily, it is illegal under the APA to do so.
I agree 100%. Regulation by enforcement, making up the rules as they go, it makes no sense. And I was part of an amicus curiae with the Ripple lawsuit. I was getting paid in XRP. I was spending XRP. It's a currency, and we finally got kind of regulatory clarity on the token last year. What are the next steps in this lawsuit? Is there a certain time frame that y'all have for the SEC to respond to this suit? What's next?
So we filed the complaint last Monday. And the SEC has 60 days from when they receive it, when they acknowledge it. They have 60 days to respond. As the Ripple community knows, these things can take a really long time. They can take months to years. The first stop, my guess, is that the SEC is going to move to dismiss. That's the very standard kind of next procedural step. And they'll do that based on the complaint alone, right? There will be no discovery. There will be no extra facts. They just have to, the court has to take the complaint as it's written, and the SEC will move to dismiss, most likely, or maybe they'll ask for more time, but eventually they'll probably move to dismiss. And then if we beat the motion to dismiss, which I hope that we will, then it would go to discovery. Then there's like fact issues, and maybe hopefully not gonna redo the Ripple fight over internal documents at the SEC, but that's where I think the good stuff would be. So I think that's what we'd be aiming for in discovery. And then there's summary judgment motions at the end of all that.
Time after time after time, we've been very patient for the past 3 or 4 years, and it seems like some other excuse comes up. Oh no, they can't do it now. Somebody got sick. Somebody's dog got sick. What's going to happen next? So why bring this lawsuit now? Why bring it now? How do you feel that it's going to affect the entire ecosystem or all the ecosystem?
Yeah, James, I think you just put it well. I think to a certain extent we've lost a bit of patience over the last 6 years, or even longer. In the case of Ripple, for example, Congress, has dragged its feet and has a lot of legislation under consideration. Eventually, something will pass and needs to pass. The regulators are conducting rulemaking that is generally hostile to the industry, if they're doing it in public at all, which the SEC didn't in this instance. And so, at the same time, again, as your listeners know better than most others, the SEC's campaign of regulation by enforcement has real world consequences and real world harms. And our hope is that this case can help put an end to that.
Exactly. And, what are the similarities or differences with your case as compared to Ripple?
Well, I think broadly, both Ripple, I think, has done an extraordinary job, and we're trying to do the same here proactively, push back against the SEC, making up the rules as they've gone. I think the specific facts of the airdrop are pretty different, and the procedural posture, we in BEBA suing the SEC here as opposed to the reverse, is a bit different. But I think the policy is certainly relevant, and it all is, I think, part and parcel of this industry-wide effort that I think Ripple and the XRP community has done a good job being a leader in, pushing back against the SEC's overreach.
Exactly. And so many companies that have been sued haven't had the funding to survive. The SEC's pretty much put them out of business, ran them out of the country. And I think it's hypocritical that they're doing this. They're not even giving these ecosystems a chance to prove themselves. They're just saying, okay, we're going to do this. You're going to pay us this. Yes, all over with. So what are your thoughts on the SEC Coinbase ruling from the judge here recently? Just yesterday or day before, where they're like, nope, SEC's right. We're going to keep stretching this out. So how do y'all feel about that?
You want me to go first? I know we both have thoughts on this opinion.
I'm not going to tell you my thoughts because I might say a few dirty words, but I'm from Texas. That's the way I am. So no, y'all go ahead.
It's hard to avoid swearing when you think about this opinion. But yeah, I think let me start with the positive. I think that the big silver lining to this opinion is the dismissal of the SEC's allegation that Coinbase was a broker through the wallet application. That is a true acknowledgement of DeFi. The judge talked about how wallet is non-custodial, about how it is user-directed, how the software is merely software that the user can use to complete the transaction that the user wants to complete, right? There is no routing activity that wallet is doing. There's no other broker-like conduct. So I will say that as a win for sure. I think that the less good opinion, part of the opinion is everything else. So the judge denied Coinbase's motion overall, as you know, and we think that there are some real problems with the way that she discussed the tech on staking in particular. And I will just say for context, this is an early motion. There is no facts before the judge right now, except for those that are in the complaint and the answer. So it is still possible that there will be fact development, like on staking, right? She can have affidavits in front of her expert witnesses, people who can educate the court on the tech and how it works. And that might change how this all gets applied by summary judgment. So we're definitely not panicking. We are taking it for what it's worth, an opinion on just the complaint that the SEC got to draft in the way that is best for them. But it was not great. We were definitely disappointed. Miller, what do you think?
I think that on net, it adds further evidence for the need for Congress to eventually clarify the law here. I think it's certainly not the first, and it's definitely not going to be the last court looking at similar facts and the same legal questions and coming to completely different conclusions. That is a reflection of what we've all been saying for a decade, which is that there is an ambiguity in the law here. So, regardless of which side you fall down of the equation, we can all acknowledge that, where federal courts are coming to completely opposite decisions when looking at the same law, something needs to be clarified, and that is Congress's job. And eventually, we hope they'll get to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about Congress. And what's the average age of U.S. Congress right now? Is it between 60 and 80? I mean, they still have their blockbuster cards in their wallets. They still have their flip phones. And I'm being nice when I say that. I could be saying a few other words, but and I always educate the public. Get with your local representatives, get with your local politicians, see which ones are pro blockchain, which ones are anti blockchain, the Elizabeth Warrens, et cetera, and vote for those. Vote them in. Vote in this younger generation that is trying to make a difference. And that's what you guys and gals are doing. Y'all are educating politicians to try to show them, I guess, kindergarten style, what blockchain is. And if they want to learn more, they could jump in those rabbit holes like I have for the past 7 years. So how can somebody get a hold of y'all? What's your webpage?
Yeah, so we are definitely available on all the social media platforms, but we are at DeFiEducationFund.org. We also have Twitter. We are also on Warpcast. And we have links on our webpage for support. We, of course, could use support. We depend on community donations and resources to be able to do the work that we're doing. And we'd also love for you to support our co-plaintiff, Beba. They have been very brave and displaying their convictions and bringing this suit with us. And they really are a small family-owned business from Texas. So, you could support them. They are at bebacollection.com, and you could buy their awesome bags. You could try to get your hands on the Beba token. I don't know if that's possible right now, but you could try. And they're also available on social media.
I'm going to leave all
and
the
for your
links.
Listeners.
Go ahead.
Just one other thing for listeners who want to keep up to date more closely on what's going on in DC. We do have a weekly newsletter that summarizes the 3 or 4 most important things and what we think about them from the week before. So you can find that on our website. And for folks that want to keep up to date, definitely recommend subscribing.
That's awesome. I'm going to leave all the links in the description of this video below. One question. Do y'all accept XRP for donations?
We absolutely do.
Absolutely do. It's right there on our support page. Our address is available, so we welcome it.
You know, I'm wearing it. I had a bad hair day and I always wear my XRP Army. You know, I'm
You
diversified.
got to get those hats.
Yeah, XRP Army, baby. But yeah, you know, I appreciate your time and I really enjoy what y'all are doing, you know, fighting the fight because we all deserve a level playing field. Is there any parting words that you would like to give to the public about what we're going through and hopefully the mission we're accomplishing?
Yeah, I would just reiterate that you're absolutely right. You know, an individual can make a difference, even if it's beyond just voting for pro crypto, pro innovation reps, and you want to go a step further. Uh, your representative and your senator listens to constituents. I recommend you send an email because you will hear back from them. Let them know what you think. I also, you know, want to reiterate my appreciation for the community because I do think the XRP Army has demonstrated the energy that crypto folks have and the passion that crypto folks have. And it's been very cool to watch, and we hope to continue that tradition.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Amanda, you got anything?
I mean, Miller just took the words out of my mouth. I was also going to say to, get involved, like Miller said. Miller's on the Hill often educating lawmakers about how DeFi works, but like anyone can do that. Anybody can request a meeting with their representative and tell them to their face that you care about this. And if they don't already know what a digital asset is, like you can be part of the effort to get them to know what it is. But yeah, Miller said it best. I think get involved. One person does make a difference. And, stay educated on what's going on. When there are rulemakings by a regulator, you can comment. Like as a regular person, you can respond to a rulemaking and say, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't think you've considered these potential arguments. And they have to read them. They have to take into account your comments. So that's another way, in addition to meeting with reps, you can directly write to a regulator in response to a rulemaking.
That's wonderful. And it's good to know, all of us on crypto Twitter, all these different organizations that are fighting for a level playing field. It's great. I mean, our voice is being heard, whether it be, like you're saying, contacting your local politicians, being part of an amicus curiae, amicus brief in some of these lawsuits. The judges are seeing this. They're reading it in detail. They're knowing that we're using these technologies for more than what the politicians are saying the bad things about it, but they're actually being used to make the world a better place. And I want to thank y'all again. Like I said, I'm going to put all the links below. Keep fighting the fight. I've subscribed to your blog. I can't wait to see the update on this lawsuit. I can't wait to see the outcome. Hopefully something good comes out of it. Hopefully the SEC will respond and not sit on their hands like they've been doing on all these other cases that, they keep dragging it out, but I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to say bad things about it. But yeah, I want to thank y'all again. It's been a pleasure having you here, kind of explaining what y'all are doing. And I'll definitely have the links below. So
thank you so
Thanks
much
for having us.
This was fun. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for participating in this live chat. Check out the links below. Don't forget to subscribe to the James Rural Crypto Show on YouTube. And don't forget, I told you so.